What is going on, you beautiful people? Another year has come and gone. 2024 is basically over at the time of recording in this video, and wowie, what a year it was. Hello everyone, I'm Finn. Welcome back to Finn Films. Join me today as I want to talk to you all about some of my favorite things from 2024, a absolutely fantastic year for media. From surprise hit anime like Dandadan to the end of the massive League of Legends animated series Arcane to Amazon's shockingly good Fallout live action series, and what might be my favorite video game of 2024, Marvel Rivals. So to start off, I need you all to cast your mind back to January 2024. A new seasonal anime kind of section of winter 2024 had just begun, and many weebs all around the world were starting to get on the hype train of a brand new anime. An anime with insane visuals, shocking twists and turns, and a little bit of video game flair for all the nerds out there. Yeah, that's right, I'm talking about Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is an anime adapted from a Korean webtoon, a manhwa, that tells the story of a main character, our wimpy main character, Jinwoon, and his insane glow up to the OP main character that he is. So in the world of Solo Leveling, Korea and the rest of the world have suddenly encountered strange portals to another world that release all sorts of scary and dangerous fantasy-type monsters into our world, causing havoc and destruction. When these portals first opened, many people were blessed with powers and abilities being labeled as hunters, many of these powers being kind of like classic fantasy RPG-like classes, these hunters being ranked from D to S. In many aspects, Solo Leveling combines like many fantasy isekai tropes with the classic kind of trapped in a video game-esque kind of tropes and genre that many in the anime world seemingly have become absolutely obsessed with, as we've seen from all of the isekai, kind of fantasy isekai anime. I recently put out a video where I ranked what I thought were the best animes of 2024, and let me tell you, Solo Leveling was a real contender for the best anime of the year, as this anime really did kind of come out of nowhere, especially for people who don't really follow like Korean webtoons. No, this anime isn't just your typical kind of isekai trapped in a video game-esque world type trope. No, there's all sorts of shocks, twists, and turns. The show is pretty freaking brutal and real in all of the best ways possible, while being so much more than just like an action battle shonen like anime, and for that it is easily goes on my list of some of my favorite things to come out in 2024. I really just hope that season 2 of Solo Leveling can continue to build on what made season 1 of this show such a great new anime debut. Moving on, I want to talk about what might have been my favorite show that came out the entire year in 2024, and that was FX's historical fiction Shogun. Shogun tells the story of the rise of the Tokugawa shogunate and the Edo era period in Japanese history. This era being probably Japan's kind of most famous time period, especially to like Western weebs. If you think like in your mind of all of the kind of classic Japanese kind of historical tropes like samurai, then you're probably thinking about the Edo era period, which lasted from 1603 to 1868 and saw the Japanese capital switch to the city of Edo, which is now known as modern-day Tokyo. Now, as many of you who watch my channel probably know, I'm a bit of a weeb. I absolutely adore Japan, and I was lucky enough to get to live there for a year in its beautiful country filled with absolutely amazing people and amazing culture. So when I saw that there was going to be a show telling the story of the rise of the Tokugawa shogunate in the Edo era period in really awesome kind of detail, in a pretty historical accurate fashion, well, I was all in, baby. And so seemingly was the rest of the world, as Shogun quickly became one of the most popular and like best shows of the entire year. Rotten Tomatoes, I think, giving it like a 99%, which is absolutely nuts. The show is fantastic as well. It features some really amazing Japanese actors, which I absolutely love, from the amazing performance of Hiroyuki Sanada, who plays Yoshi Toranaga, to Tadanobu Asano, who plays Kishigi Yabushige. Apologies if I butchered that. One of Toranaga's kind of scheming asshole lords and one of my favorite characters in this entire show, to the absolutely fantastic performance of Cosmo Jarvis, who plays the English sailor John Blackthorne, who his character in many ways kind of serves as the like self-insert for like much of the kind of Western audience, or ignorant gaijin, if you will, that are all being exposed to this very interesting and kind of violent history of Japan. I love this show. I think it's an absolute banger, and I think one of the coolest things about this show show is the fact that it is a one season, one and done show, a story from start to finish, all given to us in a pretty tactfully wrapped up package. There's none of this mucking about with multiple seasons with a potential to drop off or for the show to be canceled before the show can even finish. There is no hastily written ending. The show is start to finish, 3 acts basically pretty much, and done extremely well. At its core, it's really just a no-nonsense kind of story that straight up tells this story from start to finish as best as it can, and I love that, especially in this kind of modern age of like streaming, where so many shows go on for way too long than they should, or end up getting canceled before they can actually have a proper ending, or they just have a very piss-poor ending in general. A lot of times these endings clouding your entire opinion of a perfectly good show altogether. Up next, I want to talk about what turned out to be probably one of my favorite games of 2024, and that is Marvel Rivals, the best thing in a class-based shooter since the original Overwatch dropped all the way back in 2016. Now, I am a bit of an Overwatch fan, which is, well, pretty painful to say the least. Blizzard have dropped the ball in an impressive fashion when it comes to the release and just the game overall of Overwatch 2. They've left the door wide open for a new kind of class-based shooter to come along and really do things right and take over this market share, and that's exactly what Marvel Rivals has done, which is honestly a kind of shocking thing to say as someone who's grown over the last 10 years to absolutely hate Marvel and Disney for spamming really subpar like a Marvel superhero content at us. Marvel Rivals, though, is a surprisingly really fun and really well-balanced game. I played some of the playtests for this game early on in 2024 before the official release, and I had a feeling even back then that this game would be popular, but I'm honestly shocked about how popular that this game has become since its official release in December of 2024. With Marvel Rivals in really just the span of like 2 weeks, hitting somewhere around 20 million players worldwide. This game is a ton of fun, and it is shockingly well balanced in my opinion, with some really creative like character design. Things actually die in this game, unlike Overwatch 2, and it actually feels like you can have an impact as a solo player. You have the ability to solo carry in a competitive game, which to me is perfect, very important for competitive games, especially team-based games, where it feels like you're basically coin-tossing every game if you're going to get a good team or not. I highly recommend checking out Marvel Rivals, whether you like competitive games or not. The game is a ton of fun. It has a really high skill ceiling and a really dope set of voice actors, including critical roles Travis Willingham as Thor and Liam O'Brien as Doctor Strange. And I have a feeling that this game is going to be a great game for a long time, as long as the devs don't go too crazy when it comes to balance changes. Please, for the love of God, don't overuse the Nerf hammer. While we're on Marvel, I can't really talk about one of my favorite things of 2024 without mentioning the surprise return of the animated series X-Men 97, a show that felt like a direct shot of nostalgia into my veins. 90s kids everywhere remember X-Men 97, one of the greatest greatest Western cartoons from the 90s and early 2000s. So when I saw that they were remaking this show, remaking this gem from my childhood with all new episodes using the same voice actors from the original show, you know that I had to watch it. In this world, this kind of modern landscape now, where it really does feel like Japanese anime really is dominating the like animated series landscape, it is awesome to see a return of what I think is one of the best Western animated shows, one of my favorite Western cartoons of all times, and it's honestly just as good as I can remember it back when I was like, 8, 9, 10 years old. And it really does bring me back to like more simpler times in my life, especially now that I'm getting older. And I have a feeling that a lot of other people out there felt this way, and honestly, we really do need it with how crazy the world feels like it is right now. Continuing on this superhero trend, we have to talk about Max's Batman universe show, Penguin. Now, I was a little late in the party when it came to watching Robert Pattinson's Batman movie because, well, honestly, I just thought it was going to be dog shit. I mean, Edward from Twilight as Bruce Wayne, the Batman, did not seem like it was going to be good to me. But wow, was I wrong, guys? Penguin, though, is a series that takes place directly after this Batman movie in the story. The series following Oswald Cobb, aka the Penguin, in his rise to control the Undercity of Gotham. and man, is this show a banger. Colin Farrell is absolutely amazing as the Penguin. I mean, this guy's transformation into the Penguin is just absolutely wild in terms of, like, you know, a makeup setting. And oh my god, he absolutely kills it. Farrell's Penguin is quite the different look from one that I think many people might know, specifically Danny DeVito's Penguin from the Batman Returns. Farrell's Penguin being depicted in a much more kind of like realistic light, like a true cold-blooded killer gangster who will do anything to succeed in life, and I absolutely love it. This show is fantastic, and I love the grittier, more raw kind of storytelling element of it all, and how it takes place in a superhero story universe like Gotham, but more how it focuses on the real human element taking place like in this world. This show is amazing and is easily a contender for what I think are the best shows of 2024 in my opinion. I was genuinely shocked about how good this show was. Okay, we are done with superheroes for this video, but we're not done with video games, specifically video game adaptations, as how can we talk about some of my favorite things from 2024 without mentioning Amazon's live-action Fallout series. Yes, the live-action trend continued into 2024, and honestly, I didn't know what to expect with a live-action Fallout series, but honestly, I was very pleasantly surprised. There is a lot of, well, garbage live-action video game adaptations. Minecraft. But we have seen that streaming companies do have the ability to do this right, to do a live-action video game justice, a la The Last of Us. And to me, the Fallout series continues this kind of trend of showrunners, streaming companies, getting what we want right in a live-action video game series. I think they really did an amazing job in capturing the world of Fallout in this series, from the extremely optimistic vault dweller Lucy, who gets slapped in the face with the reality of the wasteland, to the amazing anti-hero the Ghoul, played by Walton Goggins, who really, in my opinion, is the standout performer of this show. One of my favorite things about the Fallout series is how they really tell the lore of the Fallout kind of universe and expand it, and how they do it through many characters and flashbacks in the lore of their story, specifically in the case of Walton Goggins' character, the Ghoul. His character story is written so freaking well, and honestly, I haven't been more excited to see a season 2 of a show in some time than I have with Amazon's Fallout live action. Continuing in this live-action vein, it's kind of hard to talk about some of my favorite shows of 2024, some of the most, like, impactful shows of 2024, without mentioning the Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action series. Now, this one is a little bit potentially contentious, as a lot of people out there had, you know, a decent amount of complaints when it came to the Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action, but to me, I think that a lot of people's complaints about this show were a bit overblown. I am a massive Last Airbender fan. To me, the Avatar: The Last Airbender is probably the best Western animated show of all time, and I think that, like Fallout, Netflix did an amazing job in capturing the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender, a very, like, real, breathing, living world, very obviously inspired by many regions of the world in real life. Yes, they made some changes to the story of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and some people were very upset about this. I understand this, but like I said in several of my videos over this show at the time, I'll link one of them in the eye above, changes to a story, especially in a live-action adaptation, are really unavoidable. And I think as far as changes go, these changes were pretty good, as these changes further are elaborated and expanded upon the lore of Avatar as well as the world, instead of just making up new shit to make up new shit or to make the story work. For me, Zuko and Iroh really carry this show. I think that they captured both of these characters and their relationship extremely well. Honestly, the casting and the character writing in general, I think, is amazing for the Avatar live action, and it's definitely one of my favorite things of 2024. I think that objectively, if people were to rewatch this show and kind of pull away their bias of the fact that, yes, they had to make some changes because of time constraints for the live action, I think that objectively, compared to a lot of the live action slop we've gotten over the many, many years, I think that people would realize that, okay, actually, the Avatar live action is pretty damn good. Of course, it's impossible to talk about amazing shows, really impactful shows that took place in 2024 without mentioning the final season of Riot Games' animated series, Arcane. While I don't think that Arcane Season 2 lived up to the heights, the hype of Season 1, I have to say, it was still an absolutely fantastic show, and I think this is really just a testament to, like, how freaking good Season 1 of Arcane really was. And honestly, you would hope that Arcane in general would be amazing, it would be fantastic. When it was reported that Riot Games spent somewhere in the region of $250 million to make this show possible, which is absolutely freaking bonkers. Because of this, Arcane is probably one of the best video game adaptations ever made in how it tells the kind of class struggle between the elite of Piltover, juxtaposed with the slums of Zaun, telling this story through, the characters, the sisters of Jinx and Vi, as well as Jace and Caitlyn. Now, if you're a League of Legends fan like me, then you definitely will enjoy this show, I think, because you get a lot more of the references than someone who doesn't play League of Legends. But regardless, if you've played League of Legends, if you even know what League of Legends is, I think that anyone who watches Arcane will objectively come away being like, God damn, that was a good show. I mean, its animations are jaw-droppingly good. It has a fantastic, amazing soundtrack. It has insane character development and all sorts of hype as action scenes, and it is one of the most brutal emotional shows I have seen in a long time. I honestly think that Arcane should be used as like a sociopath test, because if you are able to watch seasons 1 and seasons 2 of Arcane without feeling like any emotions at all, then something is extremely wrong with you, because oh my god, this show is emotional terrorism. Now, finally, this brings us to what might be my favorite thing of 2024. A thing that was by far one of the biggest surprises of 2024. An anime that really came out of nowhere and swept the weebs up into a hype train that I haven't seen since the debut season of Demon Slayer. An anime that I said in my 2024 anime ranking video was the best anime to come out this year. Yep, I'm talking about the romantic comedy Dandadan. Now, I did an entire video going into detail about why I think that Dandadan is so good, in which I answered the question, is Dandadan overhyped? So I do highly recommend checking that video out in the eye above if you want to see kind of my full thoughts on this show. In short, though, Dandadan is a rom-com anime that disguises itself as a shonen anime, when in reality it's just making fun of shonen and shonen tropes, the anime being much more of a shonen parody. I think because of this anime is able to draw in fans from so many different genres. As well, it is genuinely hilarious. It has sick animation, adorable, hilarious characters, and a love story filled with all sorts of silly, raunchy jokes and horny bait for all of the degen weebs out there online. As well, it has one of the best intro anime sequences I have seen in a long time, harkening back to some of the best, the all-time great anime intro sequences like Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop. In short, Dandadan has the entire package for really what makes a popular, viral anime in today's kind of anime world, anime market. A blend of kind of dark, edgy themes and comedy, degen horny bait moments, kick-ass action scenes, cute, funny characters, all wrapped up in an adorable will they, won't they love story. All of this coming together in an absolutely fantastic, amazing, really wholesome, kind of interesting package that has seen it catapult it to the most popular anime of 2024 by far, and I think for pretty good reason. To me, it's really between Dandadan and Solo Leveling for what was the best anime of 2024. I think at the end of the day, it really just comes up to what you want, what you like more in your anime. If you like hard-hitting kind of dark action, then you'll like Solo Leveling, or fun, silly, raunchy kind of comedy with a bunch of, horny bait moments, then you'll probably like Dandadan more. Yes, this anime is lewd, it is crude, it is extremely silly at times, but god damn it, I think it's great, and it easily has to go on my list. At the top of my list are some of my favorite things of 2024. As always, guys, with these types of videos, these are just my thoughts and opinions, so feel free to let me know yours in the comment section down below. What was your favorite thing, favorite show, or piece of media of 2024? Let me know in the comment sections as well. What did you think about my list? As always, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as that is the easiest way to support me, and it really does go a long way in putting these videos into the algorithm. Again, thank you so much for another awesome year here on YouTube. I look forward to spending 2025 with you all. And as always, stay safe out there. Until next time, peace, love, Adu.